Do you like to play at the beach? Hi kids, this is Auntie Mila, and I have another story for you. Our verse is Psalm 130, verse 1. It says, "From the depths of despair, O Lord, I call for your help." That's a good verse, a very good verse. Well, this story is about Glenda. She was 11 years old. And her mom and dad said they were going to go on vacation and they were going to go to the coast. And she could play on the sandy beach and play in the surf and in the water. She was so excited. But she had to wait. It seemed like a long time. Every day how many more days? How many more days? She would count them. Count how many more days. And it was about a month she had to wait, and that's a long time for an 11-year-old. Finally, the day came, and she was so excited. They packed. She was already packed because she had packed days ahead. Packed her suitcase, and Daddy took an inner tube from a tire because he said he could blow that up, and she'd have fun with that in the ocean. And so he rolled it up, and Mom packed all of her stuff and a lunch, and Daddy packed. They got in the car. Oh, Glenda was so excited. She was just waiting. They had to drive several hours. It was quite a ways, but they finally got there. They got checked into their little cabin that they had rented and had a little lunch, and they just, "I want to go down to the beach. I want to go down to the beach." Mom and Dad said, "Okay." So they all went down to the beach, and Dad took an umbrella and he had a good book he was reading, and she played in the surf. The waves would crash, and she was having fun. She built sandcastles, and the water would come and knock them over. Have you ever done that? Oh, that's fun. And she was playing, and then she ran to her daddy and says, "Daddy, didn't you bring an inner tube for me? You said you were going to bring it." Dad said, "Yes, I did. I brought it. I'll go get it." He put his sandals on and went back to the car, and he got it, and he pumped it up, and he brought it back to her. "Here it is." And it was a big black inner tube. And she says, "Oh, thank you, Daddy. I'm going to have so much fun with this." So she put it on, and it was kind of big. And she started into the water. She thought, "I should go tell Daddy that this is too big. The hole is too big for me." She thought, "No, I can figure out something." So she took it to the water, and she was just kind of hanging on to it and floating, you know. And she thought, "I know what I'll do. I'll sit in it." Have you done that? You sit in it with your legs out this way and your arms out this way, and you just float. But Daddy had told her, don't go out very deep. Don't go out beyond the breakers. Stay real close to shore. Be sure. He says, "Okay, Daddy, I will." And so she was floating, and she would float up over a wave and down, and then here came a wave crashing her into the sand, and then she would float back out. It's really fun to play in the surf. I always enjoyed it when I was little, and I still do. And she was riding the waves. She was having so much fun, she didn't realize where she was going, but the current was pulling her down. And she was riding the waves. After a long while, she thought, "I wonder where I am." And she went up to the top of the wave. She looked, and she could hardly see the shore. She had drifted so far out into the ocean. And she looked, she couldn't see Daddy. He was supposed to be watching her. And she looked around, and she thought, "Oh dear, how am I going to get back?" And so she tried to paddle. You know how you put your arms over the inner tube and you paddle like that? You don't go very far doing that. But she was trying to do that, and she didn't know what to do. She was way out there. And then she saw something that really scared her. It looked like a fin of a shark that just went by. She said, "What? What was that?" And she says, "Oh, I'm sure he's just passing by." And she kept paddling back, and then she thought, maybe if I call, "Daddy!" Daddy couldn't hear her. She was way too far out into the ocean. "Daddy!" No, and she kept praying, "Daddy!" And then she looked, what's that? There was another fin just swimming by her. And then she looked, there was another fin. And she started getting scared. She said, "Those look like shark fins to me." And so she said, "Oh, Jesus." And so she started to pray, "Jesus, please help me. I'm in big trouble. There are sharks everywhere. Please help me." When she opened her eyes, she looked around. She counted 5. Fin there, one there, one there, one there, one there. And she says, "Oh, Lord, help. Please help." And she was floating in her inner tube with all these sharks going around her and around her. They were just waiting to attack. And she says, "Jesus, help, Jesus, help." She kept praying. She didn't know what to do. And all of a sudden she heard something. She listened. It was a motorboat, and it was coming closer and closer, closer and closer to her. And then, just before they got to her, they shut off the motor, and they said, "Little girl, are you in trouble?" And she went, "Yes." And they said, "Okay, we're going to come real close, hold real still, and we're going to come real close to the boat, and we'll pull you in." And she says, "Okay." So she held real still, and the boat, they turned off the motor, and they coasted real close to her, and one man reached down and picked her up and brought her into the boat. And she was so happy. And they said, "Did you know that there are sharks swimming all around here?" She says, "I thought those were sharks." And they said, "Well, you're safe now." And they started the engine and roared back to the shore. They saved her. And as she was riding along, do you know who she was thinking of? Daniel in the lion's den. She thought, Daniel was in the lion's den, and these big lions were hungry and they wanted to eat him. But my God has sent his angel and shut the lion's mouth. She thought God sent his angel and shut the shark's mouths. That's what happened, because they were really hungry. And the fisherman that rescued her said, "Miss, you are really lucky that you're alive. Those were hungry sharks and they wanted to eat you." And she said, "Yes, I know." And they took her back to the shore, and her daddy was so happy to see her. And then she had a story for Daddy. I want to pray. Dear Lord, thank you for saving Glenda from the sharks and Daniel from the lions. Lord, help us to call on you when we're in trouble. For Jesus' sake, amen. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll talk to you next time.